So the biggest thing is really just let us know. If the public can just let us know, like, what's, what should be the priorities, what we should be focusing, what are essentially their tax dollars.
Right.
That would definitely be helpful.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back into At the Core with Danielle J. Martin. This series is sponsored by TK Business Magazine. This is an opportunity for you to join us right here, where we get to sit down with local leaders across Kansas, and you get to dive into who they are beyond their title. So today, joining me is Dr. Robert Perez. He is the newest city manager right here in Topeka. Robert, welcome to the show. How are you feeling?
Thank you. I'm doing well. Thank you.
We're excited to have you here. This is kind of like your newest debut, kind of being city manager. You've been here for what, a month?
Yeah, a little over a month.
Topeka. Welcome to Topeka.
Thank you.
Well, I want to kind of let the viewers know we have something really cool in common, that we're both from Texas. You're from Dallas. I'm from Houston. It seems like a pretty cool state, right? But it's interesting how we've landed here in Topeka, Kansas. The exciting part is you have been one of the applicants that has been selected out of 40 people. First of all, congratulations. Thank you for accepting the position. Tell me, how are you feeling right now in this moment, coming from a bigger city and then now making this new transition to Topeka, Kansas?
Well, again, thank you for having me. And just going back to the selection process, again, I think at the very beginning, very humbled. Again, also knowing I guess getting to meet some of the other candidates throughout the process. So again, just very humbled to be selected for this position. How am I feeling a month in? So we kind of tackled our budget, our FY25 budget, looking at anywhere from $13 to $15 million deficit. And so you coming into that, in the first few weeks on the job, it was a bit of a challenge, trying to learn the organization and then dealing with something like that at the same time. But the staff, the team, the City of Topeka team, amazing, very, very talented group of folks. And so while it was a challenge, they also made it pretty easy. As far as the transition to Kansas, everybody, whether within the city of Topeka or, within the city itself, everyone's been super welcoming. There's folks who just randomly will just tell me, welcome to Topeka. And from the council to the public, everybody's just been super welcoming. Yeah. So it's been, it's made it a smoother and easier transition.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to have you here because this is the opportunity in the space where people get to know you beyond your title. And for those who don't know, you've actually been you've been an assistant city manager in Dallas for many years. And so this position is nothing new. But kind of take me back to the beginning. Did you ever see yourself in a space like Topeka, Kansas? And then also, did you ever see yourself as a city manager?
Well, I moved to Texas when I was a sophomore in high school, and before that, my father being in the military, I kind of moved around a little bit, and so I during my time in Texas, I definitely I came to love it. Both of my parents are from Texas, and so that's a lot. My family's there, and so. I would be lying if I told you I ever saw my career bringing me to Kansas. Yep. But it's again, as mentioned, it's just it's been such a welcoming experience. And as far as being a city manager here, a lot of the challenges, a lot of things that I've dealt with in my career, whether it's infrastructure needs or public safety, things along those lines. I feel as though I've been trained for that. Yeah. As far as always wanted to be a city manager, going through college, I thought I was gonna go on and become a lawyer. That's what I was studying for. Yeah. And it wasn't until my senior year of college where I had a introduction to public administration course. At that point, a professor he was also an assistant to the mayor of San Antonio. And one day when I went into his office to discuss a paper, he asked me if I needed a job. It ended up being a temporary social worker with the city of San Antonio. And during that time, while serving in that position, I went to a lunch and learn for the Masters of Public Administration program at University of Texas at San Antonio. And the city manager of San Antonio at that point came and spoke to the group, and she told us what she did on a daily basis and all the cool things that she got to work on. And it was that day that I decided I wanted to be a city manager. Wow. So that's kind of the path, the start of the path as to how I guess, which led me to Topeka.
Yeah. Well, you're not alone in that, because I kind of mentioned the same thing to you earlier before we started recording. You said, what led you to Topeka? And I said, honestly, the position that I used to have at the news station. And if it wasn't for that, I don't know if I would be here. But it's interesting how you're just always coming full circle to where you're supposed to be. But you're not the only person that truly believes that you're supposed to be here. Mayor Padilla also mentioned that he has confidence in you leading us down the path towards our strategic goals when it comes to the city of Topeka. And so, for those who may not be familiar, can you kind of share what are the strategic goals for the city of Topeka, and how do you plan to achieve them?
Yeah, so there's a number of top priorities, and it's interesting, and it's a bit of a challenge because there's always you have to give, I guess, equal time to each of them, even though some may be more important to folks. And on any given day, anybody has a different priority. And so, but overall, public safety first and foremost, our affordable housing needs, or overall housing needs, definitely the homeless. Helping to shelter our homeless population. And then leading to that, I guess also our infrastructure investments. And then hopefully all of that leads to greater economic development across the city. So those are the big goals that I hope to move the city forward in. And how do we get there? I mean, obviously a lot of it's investments. We just passed, the city council just passed or approved the police union contract because in order to stay competitive, have a competitive pay for our officers, that contract increase was definitely needed. When you have a well-paid police force, that helps with the public safety aspects. Obviously, it's not going to all be police. I mean, there's support services that are needed for that as well.
Right.
But in order to attract and retain good officers, I think competitive pay is seriously important. We have been hovering around somewhere around 40 vacant police officer positions. Wow. And I do believe that this contract is going to be a good tool. Again, money is not everything, but I think it will be a good tool to keep us competitive with in that market. Yeah. As far as the infrastructure and other investments, I mentioned to you before, we're just going through the budget process. Right. We are balanced for our FY25 budget, but that is utilizing a lot of one-time reserves. And so we're basically able to maintain our current level of service. Right. But beginning in 2026 and 2027, we're going to have to make some decisions as to, because, again, going back to FY25, our budget is balanced with one-time dollars. And so to sustain our budget moving forward, we essentially have to either make some reductions in some places or bring in additional revenues. Right. And so, and it's not either or, it needs to be a combination of both of those. Right. But in order to make a lot of those investments, we're either going to have to redirect money from existing services or explore alternative funding sources.
Right. And Robert, let's dive into that a little bit more. So, just so the public can understand, like, as you are trying to achieve the strategic goals, you are seeing a lot of challenges coming from the outside looking in. You can kind of probably see the holes a little bit easier. But for those who may not be familiar with like the information we're sharing, what should we be concerned about, or what can the public do to help in this situation?
So I don't think there's anything terribly to be concerned about. Again, have like we have a team of very, very smart people, and so as we move forward in our future budget process and the current budget process, a lot of it is again just going to have to make some decisions. I know that we do have a number of vacancies that we've been carrying for a little bit of time.
Right.
So there are opportunities for us to really, look at how we're funding positions and whether or not, those vacant positions are really needed after
Yeah.
being vacant for a year or more. And so there's a number of those things that we're going to be looking at. We'll also be looking at some of our existing fees. Maybe there's some things that we haven't touched in 10 or 20 or even 30 years that maybe it might be time to adjust it a little bit to maybe capture or get us closer to maybe, fully recovering the cost of that service.
Right.
So there's a number of those items as well. As far as the public, how the public can help, we did host 5 budget listening sessions before we actually developed the proposed budget. And so we did get to hear from the public on what the priorities are for the community. And granted, there wasn't all of like Topeka. We also did have an open email. We still have an open email for people to write in things. And so as far as how the public can help, just get involved
Right.
when we hold these sessions. And I think even the last one, we did we recorded and put it on Facebook so folks can
Right.
go back later and comment. So the biggest thing is really just let us know. If the public can just let us know like
Yeah.
what's what should be the priorities, where we should be focusing, what are essentially their tax dollars.
Right.
That would definitely be helpful.
Yeah. And I know there's an opportunity for everyone to have their voice be heard, especially at the Tuesday meeting that you guys have weekly. We can put these links online as well. So there is multiple opportunities for people to share their opinion. I think that's one of the things I definitely love about Topeka is like knowing that people have the opportunity to come to city council meetings and express what they're feeling. And I know for a fact it will be taken into consideration. I've seen things move along the pathway with the City of Topeka, so definitely a huge advocate of that. So that's a great opportunity. But speak on to, I want to kind of help you build your platform here. You have an extensive background in public works, right? And speaking on that, how could you bring that education to Topeka, or maybe even share some ideas that you have that you want to kind of see in the future of Topeka?
Public Works, I guess, in the last several years has, kind of, been my forte.
Your bread and butter.
Yeah. But the beauty of infrastructure, well, first off, I'll go to our current, our current services. I think that we do have a very robust system when it comes to how we maintain our infrastructure, whether it be our streets or our utilities. Everything very similar to Dallas. Everything has and San Antonio.
Yeah.
Everything has a rating, or like for each of our streets, they have a pavement condition index rating, 0 to 100. So basically, we know the condition of all of our utilities or all of our infrastructure, and so again, the way that we select our projects. Very scientific, and I appreciate that. It takes a lot of, I complain a lot and I get my street done. We're like, well, yeah, but everybody else's street looks like that too.
Right.
So, but yeah, so the team is very good as far as how we make our investments. They make great selections. What I have learned, I guess during my experience is how infrastructure can play into a lot of different things. Infrastructure can help on a public safety aspect. I was talking to some folks from TPD today, and we were talking about how, you know, if you have a high crime area, you don't necessarily need to saturate the area with officers. Sometimes it's things like just putting in better lighting. Sometimes it is helping to address blight by, you know, bringing up the condition of the street or the sidewalks. And so, you know, you can use infrastructure to address public safety.
Right.
Somebody threw out during one of our budget listening sessions, like, you don't have to, you know, bring in 100 officers to address speeding. You can design a street sometimes to make people slow down. So there's ways to use infrastructure, you know, for public safety uses. You can also use it for affordable housing or for economic development. Sometimes it's sometimes a barrier to affordable housing could be the cost to repave a street or repave sidewalks. Sometimes you can use that as an incentive to, you know, get affordable housing where you partner with a home builder. Like, hey, like, you know, we'll build the street or we'll build the sidewalk, but, you know, this group of homes needs to, you know, have some affordable aspect or affordable component to it. So you can use it as economic development or a housing driver. You can do the same thing for businesses. And so those are some of the things that I know that they do. I know that we use that here, but those are some things I'd really love for us to expand if we have the opportunities.
Right. And I know it's good to know that you're hearing people's suggestions and opinions and in hopes to fix it or work on it, kind of sort of is what we kind of like to say, but kind of share even your wisdom on the lessons that you've learned being in leadership, right? You've been in a leadership role for multiple years, more than a decade. What lessons have you learned from Dallas or any position that you could say, you know what, I'm going to carry this lesson or lessons with me that I can bring here to Topeka?
So I think the biggest one is probably listening. I think, you know, before you even try to just implement something, I think you need to listen. You need to understand, you know, what's in place, you know, what some of the challenges or barriers have been. You need to have that understanding before you try to even fix something or implement something. So that's definitely something that I, you know, I have tried to put in place here in the last month. I mean, we had the budget listening sessions. We're doing, as we go through the police chief recruitment, we're just on the onset of that. We're meeting with the public to hear what the public wants in the next police chief. And we'll take that feedback as we craft the job description for the next police chief. So first and foremost, it's really about just listening to what's important to the community, what's important to the teams you work with, and seeking that input. So for me, you know, that's a big piece of trying to get buy-in in what you're trying to do. So that's definitely one. Along those same lines, don't try to pretend like you know everything, at least for me, right? I tell people all the time, like, you know what, you guys are the experts, like I'll lean upon your expertise and you know, we'll make collaborative decisions like that. And so again, listening and not pretending to know everything. Those are two big things for me. Share
with the community why you. You know, one of the things that I've learned about this community myself is that sometimes it can be intimidating to have a person from out of state come in. There's kind of the feedback of they don't know our city, they don't know our community, they can't fix us. But why you? Why should the community trust you?
When the posting first came up, I was just like, again, I knew I wanted to be a city manager. It's capital city, like it's exciting. There's a lot of challenges. When I first applied, I was just like, well, let's see what happens. And then when I found out I made the first cut, I was like,
you're like, oh,
okay.
wow.
I was like, okay, all right. You know, tell my wife like, hey, we should probably go up there, go see it. We saw a lot of opportunities, right? Whether it was the transportation needs, like we we visited Forbes Field, and we were like, why is this closed? Like, we don't understand. Like, you know, the Air Force Reserves are right there. You know, we read up on the history of it, and it's like, why is this closed? Like, and so, and then we started driving around the city and just started seeing where a lot of the needs were. Like, hey, like, you know, infrastructure, definitely need some infrastructure. You know, we started out.
The potholes, yep.
Yeah,
you can see them.
Yeah, and feel them.
Yep.
And then I'll completely honest. My wife was, you know, we're listening to some YouTube videos, and I was telling some of the same officers earlier today, like, you know, my wife found this video. It's like, you know, Topeka, Kansas is the murder capital
City,
of Kansas. And I was like,
this is not the place.
I was like, okay. I mean, you know, with the public safety needs, you know, it's okay. And granted, you know, not everything you got to fact check, you know, the internet or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, we drove around. We saw, you know, we saw the city, and what we saw were a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
You know,
Sure.
and so. And then, you know, started reading and researching more. You know, Forbes listed Topeka as the fastest growing housing market in 2023.
Yeah.
And so, you know, started, you know, putting those pieces together.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, well, you know, we'll see what happens. And then did the next step of the interview process, and then made the next cut. And we're like, oh. I was like, hey, baby, we should probably go up there and start looking at houses and things like that.
Get ready.
And, right. And then we started exploring more of the city and became more and more excited about it.
Wow.
And so I'll also give you this insight as well. My previous boss, city manager in Dallas, who's now the city manager in Austin.
Wow.
He's born and raised here in Topeka.
That's interesting.
Yeah, went to Topeka High, played at Washburn, played basketball at Washburn.
Wow.
He had a lot of great things to say about the community. He told me there's so many things to work on. There's so much opportunity.
Yeah.
And so between that insight, and then from the times we visited, from the times we went to through the interview process, all the folks I met, it basically made me committed to the city.
Yeah.
And the things that I share with council, the things I share with the public, I see so much opportunity, and I want us to all thrive. Like, it's not just about my career. It's not just about, you know, oh, I'm a city manager. I want us to all thrive. That's why I hope that the public trusts in that, because that's my goal for everybody who lives here, who visits here. But I mean, more than anything, I want us to be a model organization that everybody points to and they're like, oh my God, look what they're doing in Topeka. And that's my goal for all of us.
Are you ready to dive into the vibrant world of business in Topeka? Well, look no further than TK Business Magazine. You'll be able to discover the stories of innovative leaders, passionate entrepreneurs, and learn the real journey behind their success. TK Business Magazine is where inspiration meets reality. You can grab a copy today by heading to www.tkmagazine.com.
So you mentioned a lot of really good things just now, which I definitely understand as far as like seeing a lot of opportunity, right? Because we could easily say, you know what, I can just move back to my bigger city and go continue doing whatever it is I'm called to do. But honestly, there's something about Topeka that I think is so special. And you mentioned it, you said opportunity. And I think that if you start to see Topeka beyond the surface level, you will see that there's so much beauty in this community and people. And they always say it's better to be a big fish in a small pond, right? Because you can make a bigger impact, basically. And so you kept saying that you enjoy challenges. And so I'm curious, like, what is it about you that you're like, okay, I can take a challenge? Like, that's something that I think that excites you. And like, why is that?
So I was thinking about, in case you asked, like, hey, like, you know, why city manager or whatever.
Yeah.
And my thing is, I think that I think it's just in me that I want to, no matter what I touch, like, I want to, you know, make it better than it was, you know, when I first found it. And so, I mean, for this time of my life, I really do. I enjoy the fact in my job that the things that I do, if I do them well, I know the impact, the quality of life of everybody who lives here and who comes here.
Yeah.
And so for me, like, understanding the challenges that we laid out, the public safety, the infrastructure, whatever, I know that when I do well and the team does well, that, like, the people that we serve, their lives get better. And so for me, it's just, I naturally just like challenges.
Yeah.
But I know that, like, by addressing these challenges that we've laid out, that people's lives get better. And that's, to me, that's like, big cherry on the top of everything.
Right. So you mentioned it earlier too, before we recorded. I said, did you ever see yourself here? And you're like, no. Because before you're like, I wanted to be a lawyer. And so I guess now it's like, okay, well, what's next? Do you see yourself going higher in the political realm?
No.
He's like, this is it.
Absolutely. No, you know what? I think that I think that what I enjoy is, you having a governing body or somebody saying, hey, you know what, from a policy perspective, this is where we want to go.
Yeah.
And then, hey, Robert, like, you and the team go do it. I found my niche as far as city management, and my hat's off to all the folks who can go out and campaign and do all that hard work and whatever. And I'll support you. You let me know what you want me to do, but I'll let you set the policy, and I'll go make it the best that I can for y'all.
So let's get into this doctor title. How did you become a doctor? Or I guess, let me rephrase. Okay, what made you want to go get your doctorate?
The honest truth is, I got to a place in my career where I had some time. That I started when I was a division manager in San Antonio, and I had some free time in my hands, and this program presented itself. I had the professor that I mentioned, who was the adjunct in San Antonio. He actually got involved in that program. He started it. I had another friend who started it. Yeah. And I became after undergrad, I really became a nerd, and I really enjoyed learning.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, I have some time, and I could do the whole Netflix and chill thing, or I could actually go to school and further my education. And so when I got into the program, I fell in love with it.
That's awesome.
It's a doctorate in education with a concentration in organizational leadership.
Wow.
And again, knowing that I wanted to be a city manager, I really felt like that would, actually learning leadership theory, how to apply it. The program had like statistics and all kinds of stuff in it. Yeah. And then I also got into organizational development as part of that. And so it all just kind of tied into where I ultimately wanted to become, with my career goal as far as a city manager. So.
Yeah. Okay, so when you're not learning, what are you doing in your free time?
So now I do the Netflix and chill.
Now you do the Netflix and chill? Okay.
You know what? That is probably one of my guilty pleasures with my wife. At the end of a long day, like, we kind of, right now we're season 3 of Bridgerton.
Okay. Oh my God.
Love it.
Honey, yes. Yeah. Yes. Any Bridgerton friends out there? Like, yes, that is my show. Okay.
Yeah. And so those are the types of, those are kind of my guilty pleasures.
Yeah.
That, or we do like to travel. My wife and I like to travel when we have some time. And I will tell you, one of the things here about Topeka that we totally love is a lot of the restaurant scene. Like,
oh my gosh,
yes. Oh my God! Like,
are you like a foodie? Because I am, honey. I mean, I'm gonna always be eating, so it's fine. Yeah, you look good. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yes.
That and the coffee. Like,
and the coffee.
Found a lot of great coffee shops, and so
many.
Yeah, so so Saturday morning, good Saturday morning for us is getting up, taking the laptops to the coffee shop, work for a little bit, and
so you're still working.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
It's like the job doesn't stop.
Yeah, you mentioned the news like
Yeah.
24/7. Yeah,
Yes, that's what it is.
Tri-City manager.
Oh my,
yeah, same thing.
That's true. And you're a month in, and they're already putting you to work. I'm not surprised.
It's okay. Like
It's fine.
it comes with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an honor, you know. I mean, honestly, it's an honor to be able to do that. And but yeah, those are kind of, you know, you'll find us at a coffee shop, restaurants, or a home chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Robert, where do you see yourself, let's say in the next couple of years? What does your legacy look like? I know you said you're done with moving up the ladder in the government realm, but I don't know if you're done yet. Are you done?
So, I don't know what God's plan is for me. I mean, I definitely don't want to be one of those fly-by-night guys who, you know, comes in here, gets some experience, and takes off.
Right.
I told the mayor and council that, you know, if Topeka is loving, you know, my family and me, and I'm loving Topeka, I mean, who knows how long I can be here. And again, you know, it's whatever you guys planned.
Yeah, that's so good. And if you could say anything to the community right now, use this time to speak to them. I know you're always public facing and meeting with a lot of people, but what's anything you want to leave them with?
Just thank you, really. Thank you for being so welcoming. Thank you for, I mean, a lot of the insights. A lot of folks have given me a lot of good input. They've kind of, you know, shared their thoughts on, you know, I'll call them landmines, things to kind of, you know, tread lightly on, things to, you know, really push hard on. I will say that that they've done a really good job. The public's done a really good job as far as electing a very insightful governing body. They've all been very helpful and very guiding. Yeah, I mean, particularly as we're going through like this budget process, like the governing body and the mayor have been very, very hands-on. They've given us, you know, hey, you know what, that's good, but maybe you should try this, or maybe you should worry about that. I just want to thank them again for this opportunity and for being so welcoming, and again for being very. I think that I think they have very good elected officials, and so that's that. And then I guess the last thing would just be like, I'm going to do my best for y'all. That's probably the biggest thing that I want to leave with everybody, is that I want to do the best job for them possible.
Wow. Robert, thank you so much for your time today, and welcome to Topeka.
Thank you so much.
You are not alone, okay? Coming from a big city, I promise you will not regret it here. As they say, once you find your niche in your community, it's hard to leave. Okay, I'm 5 years in, so welcome to the club.
Thank you.
But thank you for your time. Thank you for your service.
Appreciate you.
Well, that's all we have for this month's At the Core series. Thank you so much for tuning into this month's episode. Hey, if you have someone in mind that you would like to see us feature on At the Core series with me, go ahead and submit a request, and we would definitely take that into consideration. In the meantime, thanks for watching and have a great day.